Hey everyone, it is Katie from Create Your Future. I am a love assumption coach here, a certified life coach and meditation teacher. Today I have a success story for you from a client that was able to successfully increase love and attention and affection from her specific person, as well as prosperity, wealth. I'm going deeper into this subject because I will be teaching a live workshop that's happening this Wednesday. Check out the link below if you want to come. That will be focused on increasing love, increasing abundance, increasing money, right? Because it is all available to you. And I want everyone to experience that, right? So let's dive into the story. If you want to check out the workshop below, I will go into this in way more detail. But I intend that this is exactly what you need to hear to increase any aspect of your life, because it works for everything. So with this client, she was experiencing just scarcity, lack in her current relationship with her specific person, a lot of hot and cold going on, and lack in her finances. There was a lot of debt. There was a lot of working for money and trying to get something from the outside to change. So let's talk about the blocks that kept her from living in the reality where she's abundant, where she's wealthy, where she's filled with love and prosperity. Okay, so the main blocks that I saw with her was this limitation, an inner argument, if you will, of not being worthy, of not being enough. When she had conversations with money, because we're all having inner conversations with every single thing in life, but when we're having inner conversations with money, like it's some entity outside of us that we have to work for, that we have to be better for, that we have to be more worthy for, because this is the law of assumption, right? We are living in our imaginal acts all the time. She was basically creating a version of money that was outside of her reach, that was hard to get, that didn't listen to her, that didn't work with her, that was unobtainable. And she was doing the very similar thing with her specific person, arguing with this version of her person on the inside that basically was always telling her she wasn't good enough. She wasn't good enough. She needed to be this for love. Things needed to change for love, like all these conditions. So she had a version of money and a version of her specific person constantly reinforcing this idea that she wasn't enough. All right, so these inner conversations, I want you to take note of your current inner conversations, right? Are you trying to prove yourself to your person? Are you trying to work harder for money? Do you feel like money's outside of you? Do you feel like your person is outside of you? Do you feel like you just aren't enough? Do you feel like you are not worthy, right? And so the main transition we had to make was knowing that, yes, she is enough, knowing that she is worthy, knowing that this world is her imagination. This world was just her assumptions pushed out, her inner conversations pushed out. It's all changeable, it's all malleable. She is actually more than worthy because she is creating all of this. She is the operant power, right? So it's not that she actually wasn't enough. It's not that she actually had to work more for money. It's not that she actually had to meet these conditions for her SP to love her. It's just, they're just playing the role of her inner conversations. They're just playing the role of her assumptions. Change those assumptions, change the imaginal acts, change the facts, right? Because as we know, assumptions harden into fact, right? So we change these inner conversations one by one, and we'll do this more in the workshop. But this is where you want to take some time to really go, what are my inner conversations with money? Do I even realize I'm talking to it? Do I talk to it like it's some outside source that's hard to get, right? Do I talk to my specific person, right? Like there's some outside source that's hard to get, where I have to prove myself over and over. Well, let's change that to the version of you that knows you're the operant power. Let's change that to the version of you that knows this is all your imagination. Let's change that to the version of you that is already wealthy and loved up all the time. What would those inner conversations sound like? Now, once we identify those inner conversations and we practice them and we persist and we persevere, and you start living in the end, not of the end, but in it, and it becomes dominant, it has to get pushed out, just like all your limitations about money and a specific person had to get pushed out, right? But again, the first step is identify what they are. So let's just start with the basic one. And we'll do money first, and then we'll go to the specific person. But with money, right, do you have the belief, again, that you have to work for it, that you have to earn it, that it is some outside power source, right? And if you believe that, and many of us are taught that, we go back to Neville's teaching of you are the only cause. There is only one cause. There's only one God, and that's your imagination. So a lot of times when we look to money as this external power source, we're seeing that as God, as something that we have to work for, to be enough for. We're believing in second causes. There is no second cause. Money is here for you. Money is your imaginal act, right? Money is a manifestation of your thoughts and assumptions about wealth and abundance and freedom. It ties into so many different things. But that first limitation that we want to change is money is here for you. So what I've done with this client and other clients where we've focused on finances especially is we'll do the inner conversation. What would money say to you if it actually was here to be of service to you? What if money really was, right, not only an imaginal act, but here to support you and provide for you and be there for you whenever you needed it? It might say things like, I'm always available to you. There's always more than enough of me, right? I'm always in your accounts. I'm always where you need me to be. I love circulating for you. I love growing for you. I love being available to you. And then you reply as the version of you that is comfortable with money, with finances, right? I love that I always have more than enough. I love that I'm so abundant. I love that, money is increasing in my world all the time, working for me, growing for me. Or talk to it, right? I love that you're always supporting me. I love that you're always growing for me. I love that I always have you when I need you. I love that I can meet every need without anxiety. I love that there's such a reliable, loving relationship between the two of us. I love knowing that you're here for me and I don't feel like you're outside of me anymore. So that's just one example of the type of conversation you can have with money. And just notice how that feels. Try that on. And again, notice what you were doing before, what the old inner conversation was with money. And that's the one that you need to drop. That's the one that we need to replace with the new nature, the new conversation. So let's do this with a specific person. Remember, they're just you pushed out. They're alive inside of you. They're here for you. They're just playing the role that you assign them. So let's assign the role that loves you for who you are, that knows you are more than enough, that increases your own knowing of your worth, that supports you in every single way, that shows you love and affection more and more every day because they want to, they're inspired to. And you do that just by being you. You're already more than enough. You are the creator of everything. Right? There's nothing more that you need to be. We're just now going into the desired state that was always available to you. We're expanding your consciousness, right, into the version of you that is always growing and evolving. But you've always been all of it anyway, because you're everything. So imagine that version of your specific person with you right now. What would they say to you? How would they show that love and affection? So it could be something like, you are more than enough. I love everything about you. You're so valuable to me. You're so worthy. You're so abundant. You're so prosperous. Your world is growing and growing every day, and I love just to be a part of it. Opportunity, success just flow to you. You are such a beautiful human inside and out. You're everything that I've ever wanted. And then you reply, thank you for reminding me of my worth, of my value. I do feel so worthy around you. I feel so secure. I feel so loved. I love that you're always showing me more affection and love, and our love is growing every single day. I love how easy and naturally this feels. I love that it just gets better and better. So again, you're focusing on these inner conversations that remind you that you're the operant power. They remind you that you are naturally wealthy, you're naturally healthy, you're naturally loved. And you're in conversation with the beings in your world on the inside first that support your vision, that support your desire. And then when that becomes dominant, they'll play their role. Your whole subconscious will play its role. Right? But it's up to you to live in a world of abundance, to live in a world of more love. Right? We can create worlds of scarcity. We can create worlds of having to work hard just as easily as we can create worlds where abundance is just part of our nature. Where being loved and adored and wanted is just part of our nature. Right? My belief is that is way more part of our nature than scarcity, than being rejected. Right? Now, I've had to internally come back to that belief, to that knowing. Right? Because that's not what I was always creating. Right? However, through repetition, through perseverance, that does become a normal state. It was always an imaginal act that created the fact. So an imaginal act can change it. These imaginal inner conversations create new assumptions. And again, this is the law of assumption. And once these new inner conversations create these assumptions, they get pushed out so neutrally, so naturally. But until that happens, it is up to you to discover, do the inner observation of what limitations am I still holding as assumptions. Question them and then change them. It might take some time, but that's why we persevere. That's why we keep going, because it's so worth it. Right? I want you to imagine a life where you do just have abundance. You have prosperity. You can meet every need without anxiety. Imagine a world where you are loved, where you are adored, where that affection that you've been seeking is always there for you. It's dependable, it's reliable. And most importantly, imagine a world where you know you imagined it all to be. You know that you're the operant power. So you know it can't just be taken away because you created it. It's worth going through all those blocks, all that resistance, changing the inner conversation to the one that you wish to have. And knowing that when these get pushed out, you are the cause, you are the operant power. Then you feel truly invincible. Then you know it can't be taken away. Go into the state of the wish fulfilled. It's already existing. It is a promise. Mentally go there, live in it, from it. Persevere, let it become dominant, and it will get pushed out. Again, if you want to experience this in more detail, come to the workshop. We will be working again on limitations, getting past common blocks limitations, creating a new self-concept, creating a new version of your person, creating new inner conversations. And I always like to end with an imaginal act that you can focus on again and again so you can live from the end, not just of it. Right? And then we'll see results, because that's the law. Last thing, if you'd like some help with one-on-one coaching, that's in the links below too. If you want to check out any of my other pre-recorded courses or workshops or meditations, that is all there below too. We will be starting up meditations as well that go along with the workshops, so stay tuned for that. And then we are running a contest that the description will say more, but we're going to be giving away coaching once we reach 100,000 subscribers. So check that out. All right. See you all in the next one.